Alright, so looking over our code, well, the code that I'm using, I found this little snippet trying to figure out how the game screens worked, because even though I've watched the videos that literally say how they work, I had watched them quite a while ago, and I didn't want to watch them again just to figure out how this particular part of the code worked. So here you see, from the main menu screen, we can go to gameplay or the editor, and by doing that, you just set the next screen index to whichever screen you want to go to, and then you go to change next. So the problem that I was talking about before, where you'd have to cycle through various screens to get to the screen where you want, that's already been addressed in the code. You just set it to what the next screen is, and you get change next. And the change previous function allows you to go back to the last screen without having to program specifically, like if you came from this screen, then go back to that screen. Dependent on different screens, you can just go back to the last one in the index. Though that might actually just go back one in the index. We shouldn't actually have to worry about that, though. So that should be easy enough to handle. So all of this in our app.main.cpp is completely fine. We just pop into here and see, we made these. So we just copy this for ship editor and paste it in there, and then ship editor. As I said, I don't like the way Ben does his member functions. I prefer to do it like this. And obviously, we're going to have a another screen, formation editor. So just copy this and paste it and change the word ship to formation in both instances. And that gives us unique pointers to each of our different screens, which we can give to the various screens so they can go back and forth between each other. And then pop in here. And then, oh yes, we have to hand the window to each of them. Main menu screen equal to, a unique main menu screen with the window passed in. And obviously, since we changed them in the .h file, we have to change them here. And then we can copy this and paste it, and then change it to ship editor and formation editor, and then make a unique ship editor screen and a unique formation editor screen. Did we actually put those in here? Oh, we didn't do the proper formatting there. You don't really have to do formatting in any specific way, though there are industry standards. It's just just so long as it's consistent, so that people who are reading your code know what you're doing, and and you should probably use an industry standard and learn it, just so that your stuff can be easily edited by people who aren't you, if you ever plan on putting it out for to be used by other people. So like if you ever want it to be open source, then yeah. Okay, so screen list isn't in here, it's up here, probably in imaingame.h. M screen list, so change it there. And I won't change this for now. I'll change it when everything changes. Oh yeah, I guess I just call it app in app main. That's fine. I just like calling this app main to remind myself that this is the main function after the basic main.cpp file. So yeah, we have all the basics here. We have, yeah, add all the screen, and then get the main menu screen. Set it. Get the main menu screen's screen index, and we're setting the screen to that. So this essentially means go straight to the main menu. You could, in theory, have it go anywhere. Like, for example, if you had a setting in your settings file that said go directly to gameplay, like go straight through everything and directly to the gameplay screen, then you could do that so long as your gameplay screen actually loaded everything properly. Like, you might have a specific thing called a continue gameplay screen that specifically loaded up the continue menu, and the player could set a thing to go directly into their last game, which might be useful for some players, but would probably piss off a lot of them if they set it and then they got in and accidentally wrecked their own game. So that's fine. That's all we really have to do in there. We don't really have to do much in iMain game. We don't really have to touch the main.cpp file. So now we have to ask ourselves about the gameplay screen. So as you can see, none of this has been made yet. None of this has been made yet. And this is the main place where we're going to do a lot of work, because we're going to have to fuse together the stuff from testing application and the stuff from Ninja Platformer over here. Close up this. And we have to fuse together the stuff from this gameplay.cpp file. And we're going to have to go through it one at a time, find out what Ninja Platformer did, and check it against what we did in our testing application. And then we're going to have to get in there and actually change it all. And, copy paste what we can, put as little effort into setting up the very basics as we can. That way we can focus more on the actual game in a while. Also, let's pop into appmain.cpp, and let's just go ahead and, instead of going straight to the main menu, because we probably won't implement that at first, gameplay screen. We're going to go straight to gameplay. That way we don't really have to do anything with these except for set up the very basic stuff in them. Heck, if they have defaults, if they have default initialization states, then we might not even need to do anything with them, and we can just focus on gameplay for now. And then once we get gameplay all up and working, then we can worry about our main menu, our ship editor, our formation editor. Heck, the main menu might come very last, though we probably should implement something very basic, just in order to make sure everything's working with our buttons and whatnot. One thing of note, I went into gameplay screen, looked down here. Oh look, player. That's not player, that's player input. And also, mPlayer is stupid. It's M capital player. Also, M capital render debug. And M capital GUI. Yes, I'm going to have to probably change all these manually when I actually bring in all the stuff from Ninja Platformer. But changing things in little ways keeps you honest, because it means you'll actually have to go through the code and change things. Of course, you could just Control F and change all, but that has the that's pretty much just as bad as copy pasting, because you can accidentally change a lot of things. Like, I think I once wrecked code once or twice by changing a whole batch of stuff in an entire solution and accidentally changing like 2 functions that just completely wrecked the game. that I had to track down manually. So, go through, look, I'm going to have to go through and look at it anyways, so I might as well change these to my style as I go. Okay, step 1, gameplay screen. I'm going to do a quick action to create a definition. Delightful. It also created the definition for the destructor. Now I'm going to pop on over to Ninja Platformer. I'm already in gameplay screen.cpp, and here it is. It takes a window and it just sets the member window to window, and it sets the screen index for this screen to screen index gameplay, which is a constant integer 1. So let's just copy that. Pop back on over. See, it's already set up most of this for us. So, paste it. Obviously, M window is actually called M window. And we need to pop into gameplay screen.cpp. And I don't think... Yeah, no. Oh, wait, no. iGame screen is there. So screen index should be covered because it's in iGame screen. That might just be a false... no, it isn't. So I wonder, where is it defined? Go to definition. It is defined in screenindices.h, which is actually part of the game itself, screenindices.h, which is just an index of each number for each screen. So we can just make something like that inside of SandSkiff. But I don't really like the name screen indices. Perhaps... Should I put it in app main? No, I should put it in its own header file. New item. Also, some of you might be raging that the header files are .h because .h is used by C, and we are obviously using C++. Green, let's just call them nums. Screen nums. And a lot of people believe that C++ headers should be .hpp. And I sort of agree, but Visual Studio just automatically makes them .h, and I'm not working with anything, I'm not working with C at all, so it shouldn't be a problem. And if it ever does become a problem, I can change it all fairly easily. Pop back down over to here, just copy this. Why not? I wonder if I can make this a const unsigned int. I can. I prefer to use unsigned ints if I know for a fact there's not going to be any negative numbers. It just, well, actually, these are constants, so I think unsigned integers are also smaller. They might not be, but they might be. I'm hoping they are. Just, you know, saving memory in tiny ways. That's me. Anyways, up here in gameplay screen, we have to... Oh, wow, there's... Oh, yeah, it must have automatically created that for me. Anyways, now I will num include screen nums, and screen index gameplay will now be a number. Delightful. Also, screen index is a regular integer because not having no screen initialized is -1, so that's fine. Also, m screen index, I'm going to change that to m capital S screen index, meaning I have to pop into my my game engine, go into iGame screen, and change screen index to capital S screen index. And you see here it's initialized as -1, meaning if it's -1, then no screen has been initialized. Just Control-Shift-S to save everything. And that's all that I don't like the way he does that either. I prefer my my brackets to be on the same line with each other. I think a lot of people do. I'm not sure about this. I'll just leave it like that for now. Anyways, save it again, and then we find we can close this. Then we go to the next thing, which is build. Let's just create definition for build. I really wish it didn't pop up this window. I really wish it just took me here. And then we go into here. We go over to gameplay screen and get next screen index. Oh yeah. Return screen index no screen. Screen index main menu. I don't think we need these functions just because we don't need to get the next screen index because we'll be passing it in whenever we move screens. Build has nothing in it. I guess because this is the gameplay screen and everything should be built by now. So maybe let's go into the main menu screen and see if build is different. No, build isn't different. So I guess build is just a function that we override for some reason. Anyway, so I'll just leave it. And let's go to destroy. Destroy's the same way. On entry. Ah, here we are. On entry does something. So we'll have to look through this. So yeah, we can pop into here. Build. Destroy. And on entry. On entry is where we're going to start doing some actual work. Hello, on entry. So let's see what this does. It creates a gravity of negative 25 pixels downwards. It creates a unique pointer called gravity. It initializes the debug renderer. It loads a texture. It makes the ground. Creates all that stuff. Makes a bunch of random boxes. 10 random boxes. It makes them a random color. It spawns them. It initializes the sprite batch. It, what does it do here? It initializes and compiles our shader. It compiles the light shader that we probably won't be using. And it initializes the camera and the player, and then it calls init UI. So, we're going to be doing some of this stuff, but none of the actual stuff in here is what we're going to be doing. This just tells us the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing on entry. So what we're actually going to be doing is popping in here, closing up most of this, popping open testing application, popping open game states, opening up towerdefense.cpp, collapsing everything using Control-MO, and opening up this init function. So in here is where we'll be looking at everything, and we'll be asking ourselves what we need to transfer from here to the new game, the gameplay screen function. So let me just think about this. Okay, so I decided, after thinking about it, that I'm going to go for a slightly different approach. Instead, I'm going to implement the main menu rather than the actual gameplay, as the main menu will actually be a lot simpler, and it will be able to tell us if we've got things working a lot quicker, since we can pretty much copy paste everything from Ninja Platformer's main menu into our main menu. So set this back to main menu screen, and then pop into here, pop into main menu screen.cpp, and it's time to start changing things so that they work in our game. Make sure that the the names line up. Make sure you have the right include, screen nums. I don't know why that's in the .h. I could probably put it in the .cpp pretty easily. I think I changed everything in here. Yep, so we're just going to want to go in here and change these by hand, not cheating, so that we know we get everything. Make sure. And GUI. Do all of this. Very slow, tedious work, but at least we don't really have to think very hard about it. I think I'm just going to copy that big G just to make things go a little bit faster. Slide down. Also, I'm going to put a little comment here because I didn't realize that this is what gets the this is what checks for if we've interacted with the GUI. Check for GUI interaction. Just because it's such an innocuous piece of code that's not really by itself. Also, I really hate the fact that all these are up here like this. I'll put them all back eventually. Anyways, next screen index. Actually, I think I got rid of that. Yeah, I did. Do I want to? No, I should put that back. So, stick that in here. Next screen index. And I should change out Benjamin for otherwise. Paste. Paste. Ben otherwise Jen. Boop. What was M screen index before? I think it was just an integer. M next screen index. Boop. I think that's all it was. I think that's all it needs to be. There we go. We've gotten almost all of the stuff done. Where's this? Oh, MGUI needs to be changed in here. Make sure everything's nice and consistent. Boop. Okay, that gets rid of all the red on our screen. We don't want these to actually do anything right now. So I'm just not going to click them when we open it up. So, and do that. So I wonder what would happen if we build it right now. We're probably going to have a balls ton of errors of just like, oh, this wasn't, you didn't say what this did, you didn't say what this did, you didn't say what this did. Yeah, undeclared identifiers, all of it. Okay, so let's just exit this, exit this, exit this. Open up our various. Ooh. Copy. And yeah, just go through and make sure that everything is, everything's declared and all that. This is going to take me a while, so I'm going to see you guys once I get everything properly declared. So after changing a bunch of names all in the these little iMain game screens and stuff, because we only changed them in the .h files, going through into all the screens and implementing get next screen and get previous screen because they need to be implemented since they're virtual functions in the in the parent class. Going into the folders and making sure that fonts, GUIs, levels, and sounds are all in this folder, because when I made this project, I didn't put those files in there. Going into the properties and making sure that it's not trying to link benjin.lib and in its fact linking otherwise.lib. And changing the screen size to one that will actually fit on my screen, we now have a screen that actually displays. And then there are buttons here. If I click any of them, it's going to break the game, so let's not do that. But we do now have a functioning screen. That is the first of hopefully about 5, I think we have. We should probably go ahead and in sources make a filter called screens, and then just drag all of our screens into there so that they're easy to find and use. So level formation. Okay, so yeah, we have ship editor, main menu, gameplay, and formation editor. And we want to go up here and get the .h files as well, so that everything is all together in a single tight bundle. Boom! And we have our screens. So now we just need to implement. I'm probably just going to take the stuff from mainmenu.cpp and implement it into every single CPP file, just so that I have something to work off of. And from there, we can implement all the specific code to each of the .cpp files. For now, I think I'll leave it there. I hope I see you guys in the next video. This has been Earth.Otherwise, signing off.